having an incredibly successful career in China primarily, Jackie Chan has also kind of moved over occasionally to doing Hollywood movies. And I think you can really see the interesting sides to what makes a Jackie Chan movie in China so unique and why it works so well in China. And he really does struggle at times to really pull it off in America. And this is for a variety of reasons. The first thing, as you'll notice in this scene here, in one of his Chinese movies and in one of his American movies, they do the exact same thing where a hero is punched, where Jackie Chan is punched in the face and from being punched, he hits someone behind him with his own head, and you'll see the way it's framed here in the Chinese movie. Now you'll see here how it's one shot. You see the fist and his face and the person's behind him face all react in the same shot. Then you see the same thing again in one of his American movies, and it doesn't work. Now, while it works on a level of just being okay, it's functional, you know exactly what's just occurred on camera, it doesn't have the same kind of brutal impact. And this is for one reason. In the Chinese movie, you have the action, which is the punch, and the reaction in the same shot. This gives it a real sense of finality, of reality, and of brutality. And this is something that I think when Jackie Chan really understands. So when he's directing these fights himself, he really gets that. He gets how the audience needs to see it all in one shot to have an emotional reaction. And more than that, a physical reaction. Whereas American directors seemingly don't understand that, and they feel like it needs to be different shots. Also, another thing, Jackie Chan has spent a large amount of his career actually making films in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is notorious and, in my opinion, infamous for all the best possible reasons for giving directors and the actors all the time they need to not only develop the fights but to then shoot them. In the case of famous action movie Hard Boiled, which was also made in Hong Kong, there's a famous hospital scene which they had a whole month to shoot just the hospital shootout. So people in Hong Kong understand the importance of these scenes having to take time. Jackie Chan himself in an interview says this. And then insert a clip of him talking about how you just need to practice and it might take 100 times, but that's the times you got to take it. That really goes to show, even Jackie Chan himself understands that mistakes will get made. He will not always get it right the first time. He might not even get it right the first 10 times, 20 times, 30 times. The importance of having the time to make the mistakes and then go, no, we need to do it again, is incredibly important. And in Hong Kong, they understand that. Whereas in the West, we're very much like, no, shoot it with 3 cameras and then go. And then if you didn't get it quite right, well, it's fine. You shot it on 3 cameras, you've got plenty of options to edit around things. And because of that, you end up with a really choppy fight. Now we've already touched on the importance of the use of using his environment, but it goes beyond that. He goes about how he actually shoots his environments. So check out this one shot here. Did you see it? Okay, so what happened there was he throws someone down the stair. You throw someone over the banister, and you see the person go over the banister, but over almost half the frame is taken up by the next stairs, which is then reincorporated into the next takedown of the next attacker. So you set up the stairs in one shot, and then it comes back. It's almost like a Chekhov's gun in terms of blocking, and that is something that Jackie Chan is infamous for doing throughout the whole of his fights. He's always setting up what environment information you need, and he does this really incredible stuff where he just lets the camera be static, and then it's a case of panning left or right. It's very rarely ever handheld, which gives you all the time to take in these images. And it's quite incredible because it means you never have any confusion. And some directors do this differently. The Raid is not like that. The Raid is constantly moving, developing camera, which can work. But for Jackie Chan, he knows what his style needs, and it works tremendously. Also beyond that, as we talked about before, there is a difference between Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan. Bruce Lee's style of fighting was all about being able to fight in the streets if ever necessary. Whereas Jackie Chan is about entertainment. It's about going, oh my god, how will you ever get out of this? And I think, to a lot of the time, actually, Tom Cruise has taken a lot of things from Jackie Chan. This idea of you got to give people a show, even if it's not real, even if it's not something that you could feasibly do in everyday life. It's something that someone has physically done, so therefore it is possible.